Hi, welcome to Emerging Technology with Warren. This is Warren Whitlock, and I talk about emerging technology. Today, I'd like to talk to you about a concept that I'm working on. It's new, and you're the first to hear it. It's based on, if I was going to give this a title, it would be that's flashy. I think Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. That was a movie. And the concept of the movie was the person was faced with being in different dimensions and or times, or I'm not really sure what. But that concept got me thinking when I was reading about light. Let me explain to you what happens when light is emitted. It is observed by humans on the surface of our planet to be going in a straight line, especially I think of a laser light or even a flashlight torch. You can aim a light at something and eliminate that item. But what really is happening in the quantum physics that I've been reading about is that when light goes someplace, it doesn't know that what the best direction is to go. Light is not going to go in a spiral, curlicue, messed up fashion where you don't know how it's going to get from point A to point B, but it is going to go from wherever it's emitted, say point A, and go out in every direction until something stops it or guides it or whatever. What we see is the optimal path of light and call that our dimension and be able to see what appears to be light traveling from one place to another. Look at a star and the path it has to take. It's a billion light years away and it comes to us. And what do we see? We see a speck in the night sky. But at the same time, that star is sending light in many other directions. This really matters when you start looking at how atoms travel. Inside an atom is an electron. Does not have a fixed path that it defines. It's not riding on a rail or being pulled by a string. It managed to go in an orbit based on magnetic pulls from between electrons. And there's good old attraction and repulsion that we learn when we learn about magnets in grammar school. But it seems to be totally fixed on what's going to happen. So physicists were measuring this, they're trying to figure out how does the light know where to go? And as they got down to examining it, they said, imagine that you are on a beach and someone in the water is struggling. Well, if you were to jump in the water and swim in their direction, say that's a diagonal path, that may not be the best path to get to them. The best path to get straight to them, the straightest path, might actually be to run down the beach a bit, then jump into the water, and you can get to the drowning victim sooner. And why is that? That's because things move. The water moves, you move, the earth moves. There's all sorts of different forces taking effect. And this is where I got the insight. Then help me, guys. Leave me a comment and tell me what you think about this one. But let me explain where I am right now. The everything, everywhere, all at once. As we think about in quantum physics that we are really in one dimension doing things in one way, we aren't stuck. It's not predetermined. There are no rails. We go through our lives. We figure out what's best to do, and we really have the ability to go everywhere, anytime, in any direction that we want, use whatever forces we have. And there a lot of it's fixed. If you take a step off a curb into speeding traffic, that traffic is going to have an effect on you. But you have some sort of free will. I totally believe. I've read books on whether or not we have free will. And boy, there's some pretty good cases to say that the electrochemical reactions going on inside your mind and body will make things happen. And you really can't control that. There's no person inside controlling it. I don't believe that. I know that we have some sort of soul, some kind of inner drive, kind of spirit, some essence that makes it possible for us to decide where we want to go. Else, why would we bother at all? A lot of our choices seem to be illusions. We feel stuck. You may be feeling stuck in your job, in your family relations, in the position you are, what company it is, what country you live in, what the genetics are that you got stuck with. And yes, there are a lot of things that are determined, but I'm finding more and more that life can always be better than it is. There is always an optimal path. And the interesting thing is, what got you to this point right now, today, where you're sitting, is the result of optimization of a lot of factors. And if that's a good place or a bad place, or how you feel about it, sometimes it can be what I might think is a bad place, and you might think it's wonderful. It might be a job that you love doing, but I might not want to do that job, or I might not be as capable to do that job. All of those things are possible. And I guess the message I would like to leave with you today is that when you realize that you can take off from where you are and reach any point on earth, I totally believe that a person that is born in the lowest of low positions in socioeconomic and decides they're going to do better, you can still get some form of transport and get to any point on earth. It may take a lot of work, it may take some time, but it's always possible. Finding that optimal one is always what we're headed for, to find the optimal path. But really, there isn't anything that we're limited to. To me, that's a very inspirational and motivating thought, that I'm not stuck in anything I do. My body may be older than yours, not capable of doing things that I used to be capable of doing, but I can get things done and I can go for many places. Does not be ridiculous. I'm not trying out for a major football team, but I'm not going to be a firefighter. Those things are just like past that. They're the things that I never really wanted to do. So why would I worry about not being able to do them? But even if you're not able to live what you thought your dream was, you can rethink and reimagine and go in another direction, just like any electron of light. And when you get down to particle physics and quantum entanglements and all those sorts of things, you probably can do a whole lot more than any of us can even imagine. So whether that means that you want to take a trip to Antarctica and you need to get there from where you are, there's a way to do that if that's really what you want to do. That may not, for me, that may be a total waste of time. I see no reason you should go to Antarctica, but if that's what you want to do, it's possible. If what you want to do is get educated, that's possible. You're here, you're listening to me ramble on about things about emerging technology, about better. The best technology that you have is right inside your brain. And all the studies I've read say that we're not using all of our brains. So there's a lot more growth to go. And who knows, we may be able to like blink and transport ourselves to Antarctica. Hopefully it's not a one-way trip, but you can go anywhere you want to go, do anything you want to do. I'm speaking of the travel as metaphorical, of course. That may be that what you want to do is get out of the house, live someplace else. That's possible. Is it desirable? Maybe. And is it going to hurt with other obligations and lifestyle and prior decisions you make? Yeah. It's not always going to be an easy thing to do. A lot of what we see coming with technology expanding so fast is going to have great changes in how society works. But the good news is, right now, most people don't know much about AI. And I'll include me and you maybe in that group. There are a few people doing some amazing things and a few of us learning to benefit from it. But the vast majority of people regardless of race, regardless of nationality, regardless of where they are, even in the best parts of, say, the United States with the best zip codes of people that have lots of money. Though still the majority of those people don't know what to do with the emerging technology. It's become an equal playing field up here in our mind. And I hope you'll find some use for emerging technology and emerging technology with Warren, the podcast. I'm here, going to be producing more of these. Please subscribe and share. And if you have any comments on this, please tell me where I got it wrong. Leave a comment below, and I will read all of the comments. And thank you for being here, and I'll see you next time on Emerging Technology.